everyone, my name is Tamara and this is episode 27 of the Caffeinated Craft Mamas podcast. My podcast all about my knitting, crocheting, and bookish life in Southwest Missouri, where I live with my partner Richard, our 3 kids, and our dog. How are you all? It has been about a month since I have podcasted. I was not planning on podcasting today. Grace was supposed to be here, but it ended up not working out for her to come over today. My kids are at the pool with my mom, so I figured I would go ahead and get a podcast recorded while they aren't here instead of having them interrupt us every 5 seconds if they are here. So we'll do some admin stuff. We're going to talk about the elephant in the room. We are going to talk about the 2 finished objects I have, one of which is huge. Then we are going to talk about my whips and some future knits. I don't really have any books to talk about this time. I'm kind of in a book funk. We'll talk about that. Yeah, so we're just going to fly by the seat of our pants and go ahead and get started. If you would like to follow me on social media, please feel free to do so. I'm really only active over on Instagram. I'm over there as the caffeinated_craft_mama. You can also use the hashtag Caffeinated Craft Mamas podcast. I have that up there now. And I am working on getting better at Ravelry. For a long time, I was really good at using Ravelry, and then I quit using it for a while, and I just really haven't gotten back into the habit of using it. I did find it a useful tool, at least for me, to put in my finished projects, because then I could go back and look at them, because I keep little notebooks where I talk about my projects and I write notes for myself, but sometimes I lose those notebooks, or my kids pilfer those notebooks, or they get put in the wrong spot. And I can't always find them when I need them, especially when I'm looking at like socks I've made for someone or things of that nature. So I need to get back into the habit of using Ravelry again. Also, let me know if you guys think that you would be interested in a podcast group for Ravelry for this podcast. I know we've not done any like knit-alongs or make-alongs or anything like that, but I've thought about doing a few. So let me know if any of you would be interested in something like that. I just hadn't really thought about it, to be honest. Okay, so, all right, we're going to talk about the first thing, which is the new hair. In the last podcast, I had talked about how I was considering cutting my hair, and I think I lasted a whole 2 days after I recorded the podcast before I chopped it all off. I'll pop a photo in here of my before and after. It took a couple of days of getting used to. I actually grew up having short hair. That was very common for me as a kid and preteen, but I haven't had short hair in several years, probably since Jade was a baby, I think. I cut all my hair off when she was a baby, I think. I'll have to look. But anyway, I went and got it cut, and it wasn't quite what I asked for, so it took me a couple of days to kind of fool around with it and decide if I liked it or not. The biggest bummer for me was I ended up with a stacked bob instead of, I just wanted a chin length bob, just chin length all the way around. And I ended up with a stacked bob instead, so it's much shorter in the back than it is in the front. All of my color is gone in the back, which is a big bummer. And I have barely any left, which is purple now. In the front. So I am considering taking the purple or whatever color. Actually, I really enjoyed the blue, so we may go back to that. Taking the color back up. I probably wouldn't do my whole head again, but maybe go up to like 2 inches and like try to fade it or something. I don't know. We'll play with it and have fun. I just really enjoy the bright colors, and it's a fun thing for me to do, because I'm not really a nails person. I don't go get pedicures. That's just not really something I enjoy doing. So being able to have fun colored hair is kind of what I like to do. And, you know, even though the school district that I used to work at is loosening up a lot of their rules, sometimes brightly colored hair still isn't allowed on teachers and paras, so there's a possibility when I go back to the classroom I will have to dye it back to a natural hair color. So I want to have fun with it while I can. Okay, FOs. We're going to talk about the little FO, and then we're going to talk about the huge FO. Okay, little FO. These socks have been on the needles since, oops, excuse me. I think January. I used my US zeros for these, so those were the a Christmas gift from Melissa. So yeah, these were probably started in January or February. This is Hobie yarn. I'm not sure of the colorway. These were knit on a US size 0. I did 60 stitches, just my typical heel flap and gusset that I enjoy doing, my stretchy bind off that I like. So yeah, those are my first pair of size 0 socks. I do really like the gauge I got for these, and I will probably continue to knit myself socks on size 0s. I haven't transitioned to totally size 0s yet. Wow, listen to me. Yet. I have been using my size 1s for gift socks and my size 0s for myself, which you'll see when we get to whips. So yeah, these are gonna be put up in my sock basket for fall and winter. So yeah, those are done. And then the big one, guys. And I will get a picture of this. I kind of want to do, I've seen on Instagram quilters who like hold up their quilt and then they drop it and it like slow motion falls. And I kind of want to do that with this. So there's a possibility I will have either a little clip to pop in here or definitely a photo of myself holding this up. My Cozy Memories blanket is finished, finished, finished. I mean, all ends are woven in and it has a border, and I have gone through and fray checked all of the little ends that were sticking out. So I will go through and show you guys the blocks that I have put on since I podcasted last, and then we'll talk about the border a little bit. So this was the one I just finished the socks. This was from my advent calendar 2 years ago, I believe, from Sinful Yarn. It's Cruella. I knit my brother-in-law a pair of socks out of that. This is from a hat I knit for Richard. Christmas socks, Halloween socks, a mini, some of these I don't know. This is Fangirl Fibers. It's not Winter and Valaris. Starfall. It's a Sarah J. Maas colorway. And then this is the color I dyed myself. If you guys didn't see that video, it's the last one in my list, and it was first yarn I have ever dyed on my own. So there's that one. This is a Kimber's Cozy's Creations. I just knit a pair of socks out of this. A mini, a mini, a mini. This was Bad Wolf Girl Studios. The Grinch? Yeah, The Grinch. A mini, a mini, and a mini. So yeah. And one of my other whips got a ton of work because I had sat down, poor Gretchen. I had sat down and talked to Gretchen about what I should do. And I was like, should I do a garter border? Should I do I-cord? Blah, 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 blah. So we were going back and forth, and she's like, I think you should do I-cord. And I'm like, okay, I think I should do I-cord too. And then I went to do the I-cord, and I got about 2 inches done, and I was like, this is awful. Because all I had were a set of fixed circular needles. So I was having to slide the fixed needle through every time to turn. And it was just, I understand that yes, I could have continued on my way, but I was putting so much work into other projects because I did not want to pick up this blanket. And I was determined to have this done by the time I podcasted again. So I pulled the I-cord out, and then I just got my longest cord for my Chowgu needle set. I knit these squares on US 2.5 needles. So I grabbed my US 3s and I just sat down and listened to an audiobook and picked up all of the stitches. I did the 2 longest sides first. I knit 10 rows of garter stitch, and then I bound off, and then I did the 2 short rows. And I just did the border with Knit Pick Stroll in Ash, I believe. I had it in Stash. And it took me less than 200 grams to get all the way around the blanket. So like I said, I will take a picture of this standing up so you guys can see the finished product. And then this is promptly going in a gallon-sized bag and being hidden from my children and my husband, because, well, not husband, boyfriend, because he, they all want it. And so we're going to leave it right there so we can see how pretty it is. And this has, as we've talked about before, non-superwash wool in it and single ply wool and all kinds of different things. So we're just not even gonna mess with them having that. That's mine. So I'm gonna hide it. And you know what? Every now and then you are allowed to do that. I used to be someone who only crafted to give people things. And it was not as much fun. And now it's like, you know what? That is mine. Like, it is okay for me to tell you that you may not have that. That is actually one of the things I really like about the US size 0 needles for socks. Richard cannot steal my socks. Okay, we wear pretty close to the same size shoe, and when I knit 60 stitches on US 1, he takes my socks. So I have started knitting 60 stitches on US 0 or 56 stitches on US 1 and making them a little bit shorter so they do not fit him, so he cannot steal my socks. And that's just, yeah. Okay, sorry, that's a little soapbox I get on every now and then because it aggravates the snot out of me when I go to put on a pair of my hand knit socks and they're all stretched out because he's shoved his big old foot in there. Men, I swear. Okay. Let's see, we talked about those. Okay, so the project that got the most work while I was avoiding the I-cord for my Cozy Memories blanket was my Midtown cardigan. The pattern is by Stephanie Jessica Lau, and this pattern you can get for free on her blog or you can buy it on Ravelry. So I got, okay, so I was where the star is the last time you guys saw this. So I knit this whole panel and I knit a whole another front panel. And this is just a big boxy oversized cardigan. So, and they're attached to the back panel. And I also knit, there's one, 2 pockets. So, that are all tangled up. 2 pockets. So all I have left are the sleeves and the button band, and being the complicated brain that I am trying to figure out how I can pick up from the shoulder seam and knit down. Okay, let me rephrase that. I know how to do it. I'm just making sure that I get the sleeve that's going to fit me the best. I am not the type of person who enjoys really big sleeves. I know there are several people who are really into like those balloon sleeves that just decrease down very rapidly. That is not for me. I don't enjoy that feeling at all. So I'm already knitting this with medium numbers to get the large size because of gauge. Now I'm thinking about knitting the small sleeves, so the small sleeve numbers on here to get me a little bit of a tighter fit on the sleeve. So I just had to play around with it and sit down and pick up the stitches and knit it. So that will definitely be an FO next month when I talk to you guys, because I literally just have the sleeves and the button band left. That's only a couple of hours of knitting, and it's straight garter, so it will get done quickly. And this is in my Porter Wool Co. Yarn bag that is Sarah J. Maas inspired. So yeah. Okay. Gonna grab a drink because I did not drink enough water yesterday. Oh, next up in my Christmas cupcakes bag that I love so much is my Frozen Fractal sock weight sweater. This is a pattern by Meg of Bad Wolf Girl Studios, and I was here where the little cherry stitch marker is. So I've gotten one more chart done since you guys saw this last. So I'm just gonna hold it up so you can see. I'm really enjoying this sweater. I'm enjoying the color work, and am really looking forward to doing the big chart. That's the one I have next. So I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm excited too. This is my first big color work project. I've done like hats and I've done like a little sweater for William and that kind of stuff, but I've never done like a fingering weight big sweater. So I got a wild hair to work on that one night and just went through the whole chart before I realized what was going on. So yeah, insomnia knitting for the win. And I am just knitting this out of Cascade Heritage. I've had this in stash for years. Originally, this was going to be another one of her patterns, and I decided to do this one instead. So yeah. Okay. I have not touched my field day cardigan since we talked last. My plan is to finish my Midtown cardigan, and then my field day cardigan will be my pick up and knit X amount of rows every day. I'm gonna go down, do one more buttonhole, excuse me, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pick up for the sleeves and knit the sleeves, and then I'll finish the rest in the body because I want to make sure I use as much of that yarn that I have for that field day cardigan as possible. And I also don't want to run out because I bought that yarn when one of my local yarn stores was closing, and she closed like over a year ago, so I would definitely get different dye lots if I ordered any more of that yarn now. Okay, so we have sock whips to talk about and a crochet whip to talk about. Let's see. Okay, first one we're going to talk about is in my Christmas bag from White Clover Studios. I am aware it is not Christmas time, but a Christmas present is in here. And I love Christmas. I love Christmas stuff. So I figure as long as there is a Christmas present in the bag, I can use Christmas bags all year round. All year round. And I have a Halloween stitch marker on there. So, you know, we're just all the holidays. All the holidays. So, I believe I was just past the toe the last time you guys saw this. This is just the first of 6 pairs of Christmas socks I have to knit this year. This is Hobie Christmas yarn. There's not a, I think this is color number 2. They don't do color names. That's what it looks like. And I think I'm going to do shadow wrap heel for this, which is kind of why I've stalled a little bit on these. I haven't worked on them very much. Because I am figuring out how far I need to knit to do the shadow wrap heel. So I just need to pick somebody's brain or find the pattern or whatever. Gretchen told me who wrote the pattern and where I can find it. I just haven't done it yet. So, you know, priorities. It'll get done when it gets done. It's only June. If I can get a pair done in June, July, August, September, October, and November, then I can just knit for myself in December. It'd be great. We all know that's not going to happen because I'll come up with more projects that I need to do, but it's a fun thing to pretend. Okay. Next up are a pair of Christmas socks for me. So this is in my Ginger Snap Fibers bag. Little snowman. And I feel like he can be out all year round because it's, while it is Christmassy, there's no like Santa or whatever. So Melissa and I ordered, each one of us ordered a skein of West Yorkshire Spinners in the colorway Gingerbread. And we decided we were going to knit matching Christmas socks. So I have, these are my 2 contrasts. They're both Cascade Heritage in Christmas Red and Christmas Green. So we're doing, one sock has, and she's already finished hers, one sock has a red toe, a green heel, and a red cuff. And the other sock will have a green toe, a red heel, and a green cuff. And like I said, hers are done already. So this is what I have so far. Not too bad. And my little stitch marker. We got some Christmas charms from Joann's and just tossed them on some earrings. So yeah, I've just knit this outside a little bit. This is a new increase for me on the toes, and I will do the new increase as well on the gusset increases. I just did that on my other sock whip yesterday when I was at Silver Dollar City. It's one Gretchen told me about, and it is just yarn over, and then the next row you knit that yarn over through the back loop, and it's so much faster for me to do that than it is for me to do make one left, make one right, and it's so much easier for me to know what row I'm on. I'm either on a yarn over row or a knit through the back loop row. There's no questioning other than that. There's no looking at your knitting, trying to figure out where you are, and that just makes it fly for me. I was able to do all of my gusset increases, turn my heel, and do the entire heel flap while I was at Silver Dollar City yesterday. Not on these, obviously, on a different pair of socks, because I didn't have to think about it. So I really enjoy it. And these are on US size zeros, 60 stitches. So the Christmas pair are also 60 stitches, but they're on a US one, like I talked about. I just haven't quite figured out my math for, which I mean, I'll probably just go up to 64 stitches for other people. But I'm just going to use my US ones for right now for gift knitting, and my zeros for my knitting. Okay. My last sock whip is covered in dog fur, because dog fur is like glitter. And my dog was laying on this bag before I started podcasting. It's in my Lila Styles Harry Potter bag. This bag goes just about everywhere with me. And like I just mentioned, I took these to Silver Dollar City with me yesterday. And yesterday when I got in the car, typically when we go places like that, I will drive one way and my mom will drive the other, or we'll split, like if we go to St. Louis or something. So I started just above this blue marker. So I got all of that knit while I was either navigating or while we were at the park itself. We were able to go with a couple of friends. My mom's best friend has both of her granddaughters right now, and they are both Jade's age, and so they invited us to go and had some extra tickets for us, and so it was a little bit last minute, so Livy wasn't able to go, and she's not a huge roller coaster rider. I was shocked that my daughter rode every roller coaster in that park. As most of you know, my daughter Jade has autism, and I was expecting roller coasters to be way too much sensory input for her, way too much overstimulation. She loved them. The second ride they were there, the first ride they rode the barn swings, which is this huge swing that goes back and forth. You go like 90 feet in the air. Mom's over here like having an anxiety attack watching my child on this ride. She gets off the ride and she's like, Mom, you need to stop worrying so much. Okay, excuse me. Like, sorry that I'm concerned you're about to have a full-blown meltdown here. Next ride she rode was Outlaw Run, which is like the second biggest roller coaster at the park. So after that, they were like, can we go ride the big rides? So Holly went with the big kids, and my mom and I took William, and we rode some of the smaller rides, and we kind of traded back and forth. He mostly wanted to hang out with me, totally fine with Mom. I sat in the shade with our stuff and knit. It was great. I like to go to Silver Dollar City, which is a theme park not too far from where we live, more for the crafting and the food and the atmosphere. I do ride some of the rides, but I prefer to keep my feet on the ground. So I am totally that person that will go to a theme park with you and hold your stuff while you go and have fun. I'm really looking forward to being able to go again. Richard's able to get cheaper tickets through his work, so we're going to be able to take all the kids again. So I'm really excited about that. So yeah, and this is yarn I dyed myself. So with my little, you guys don't know that I have this obsession. Bat wings, fangirl fibers. It was one of her Sarah J. Maas stitch marker collections. So yep, I'm hoping to probably have this pair done. I was going to do shorties for these, but I think I'm going to go ahead and make them a long pair since this is the first yarn I dyed by myself. I want that, I just want them to be long socks for that. So, yeah. We are trucking right along. Let me grab another drink of my water. Sorry if you can hear me swallowing. I hate that. So I should probably be more mindful. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about is Dawson's Lord of the Rings blanket. It's my only crochet project that I have growing right now. It was my bus stop project, and since school is out, I haven't really been going to the bus stop. So, therefore, I haven't really been working on it. It will probably be my car project from now on. I'm kind of like those people that talk about how they have like a purse chapstick and a car chapstick and a bedside table chapstick. I'm like that, but with knitting. Like I have a project that sits on my bedside table. I have a project that goes in my purse. I have a project that's in my trunk, you know, because heaven forbid I go somewhere and have to wait and I don't have anything to do. Like, ugh, that's awful. So I am 2 rows away from being halfway through the Frodo block, and I will show you the picture because you can get this for free on Lion Brand's website. So it's not like I'm giving anything away. You can go download this yourself. So that's the block. Like I said, we are halfway to having this block done. I'm 2 rows away from being halfway. And I'm sorry if you can hear a dog barking. One of my neighbor's dogs is having a cow over who knows what. Okay, it's all tangled, but you can see. And I highly recommend, even though it's a mess right now, anyone who does corner to corner like this, that does the graph gans, these little bobbins, you can get them at like Joann, or I'm sure you could probably get them even online somewhere. They are the most handy little things for this because it saves you so many ends to weave in. That's the one thing I don't like about doing these graph gans like this is how many ends I have to weave in. But because of the little bobbin deals, it's so much easier to weave in your ends and you don't have as many to weave in. So yeah, I would like to have this block done by the time I talk to you guys next, because she's already come out with, I have Frodo, Sam, and Gandalf. She came out with Gimli and Aragorn, I believe. So the blocks are being released every like 6 weeks-ish. And then she'll do the 2 bottom band and top band. I'll pop a picture in here of what it'll look like. And so I told Dawson when I went to his graduation party a couple of weeks ago, I was like, hey, this is what your blanket is going to look like, but it won't be done until closer to Christmas. This is why. And he was totally fine with it. I knew he would be when he saw the blanket. It's hard to believe my last cousin graduated from high school this year. So that's a little weird for me. I was 15 when he was born, so I kind of felt a little old, you know, talking to him at his graduation party. I was like, whew, I'm getting a little up there in age, so it was just weird. And I'm sure I'll have that feeling again, but yeah, it was just weird. So that is all the knitting content that I have. We're going to talk about some future knits and then a couple little life updates. I pretty much talked about everything in life updates really, but yeah. So if you're just here for the knitting content, we'll see you later. If you want to talk about some things that I have planned coming up, stick around. Excuse me. I am planning on knitting another Cozy Memories blanket. I know I said I wouldn't. I'm planning on crocheting the coziest, or no, wait a minute. The Crocheted Memories blanket, which is a a pattern by Hannah of Cozy Cottage Crochet. Oh my goodness, y'all. I needed to write all that down. And it's a corner to corner. There's a way you can connect them all. I love the way the blanket looks. I enjoy doing corner to corner crochet. So I'm definitely planning on doing that. But then my mom was like, oh, we should do one more of the Cozy Memories blanket. I will definitely do some things different. Obviously, I will make sure that I'm using only sock yarn now that I know better. I'm also planning on making the blocks much smaller. These blocks took me roughly 10 grams of yarn a piece. And I am one of those people that I like to save every bit of yarn that I can. I spent a lot of money on that yarn, especially the indie dyed stuff. And you better believe that it is going to be put in as many projects as I can get it in. So I literally, if it's from my shoulder to the tip of my fingers, it goes into a magic knot ball that I have that I'm planning a corner to corner blanket with. I'm probably gonna do like 4 large corner to corner blocks, then I'll sew them all together. But for this, they took me roughly an hour and 10 minutes per block, and that's if I was uninterrupted knitting. That's just if I was sitting down and knitting straight without any interruptions. I'm a mom. I'm interrupted every 3 seconds. So I think I'm going to do probably maybe like 20 by 20 stitches, or maybe even like 16 by 16. So it would cut the squares roughly in half, which is okay for me, because then I might still use 10 grams of yarn, but I'm putting those squares in 2 blankets. I'm putting part in the crocheted memories and part in the new cozy memories that I'm gonna do with my mom. So that is the plan for Scrappy, and I'm still also doing my little granny squares because I really enjoy those, and I think I'm gonna enjoy the blanket a lot. And I'm considering doing a few out of some scraps and sewing them together on my sewing machine. I think I talked about this last time, and tossing it in the washer and seeing how that holds up, because if I could sew those granny squares together instead of like mattress stitching them together, that would be amazing. Okay, next up that I am planning on doing, I need to cast on a pair of socks for Richard's birthday. His birthday is next month. I've got the yarn in a bag with the needles. I just haven't cast it on yet. I was so focused to get that Midtown Cardigan finished, and I just didn't have time. So yeah, I need to start and finish a pair of socks for Richard for his birthday. And I would like to knit, and I'm going to mess this up, and I am a horrible Star Wars fan because of it, but I cannot think of how to say her name. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to put the shawl name right here. This is by Knit Graffiti. It is a shawl that I saw and fell in love with. To be fair, she's been in The Mandalorian, the character, but I haven't watched any of the cartoons with her in it, and she's not been in any of the movies. So there is that. But I saw this shawl, and I immediately thought to myself, I have an idea for some yarn I want to dye to put in this shawl. So, big shocker here, I'll probably get a charcoal gray. It'll look a lot like the picture, but I want to do a periwinkle base with pops of like speckles of black. I'm gonna get some purple pop from a friend. I'm gonna do probably the magenta that I have, and probably some true turquoise, and just sprinkle over that periwinkle color. And that will be the lighter colored yarn in the photo that I have up there. So there's that. And then I am planning on purchasing the quilting triangle shawl from Stephen West, and I'm going to make a scrappy shawl out of that. I am only doing purples, blues, greens, and even then it's almost all my like jewel tone colors. I have a few lighter colored ones in there. I've showed you guys the bag before, and when I start the project I will show you them obviously as they go. But I was not allowing myself to purchase that pattern until I finished this, because I'm really bad about starting something and then I have like, you know, a huge whip pile and then I don't finish any of them. So I am working on getting a few things finished before I start some things. So yeah, those are all of the future knits that I have on board for the next month. Let's see. We don't really have a ton else going on. We're planning on hanging out by the pool this summer, getting outside. Jade would like to go to a Springfield Cardinals game. We have a minor league team here that they go to one other place before they go play for the big birds. So I'd like to, we're gonna go watch a game. She's never been to a baseball game before. I was a Cardinals fan born and raised. My dad absolutely loves baseball, so I was raised around it. So I'm gonna make sure I take her a book or two because I have a feeling she's gonna get bored. But she did say she wanted to try to go. I think she wants to go more for the fireworks at the end than she does anything else. We'll probably just get, at our stadium, they have like a grassy area that you can pay cheaper tickets and you bring your own blanket and you just sit there. So that's probably what we'll do, because that'll allow William and Jade to get up and move if they need to, and we're not going to bother anybody. And it I think just be an easier time for us. We also have on our bucket list for this summer, we are planning on going to the drive-in. There is a drive-in about 45 minutes away from us, and we're waiting for them to get the Mario movie. When the Mario movie comes, we will go to the drive-in. Again, I love the drive-in because my kids, if they start having a meltdown, I can put them in the car. And I can close the doors and turn on the AC, and they're not going to bother anybody. They can work out their meltdown, work out whatever else has upset them, and then can come back out and finish watching the movie without an issue. Normal movie theaters are hard for us. And even with headphones, which we're blessed, the movie theater up the road from us does do sensory showings, but it's only the first Saturday of every month and only a specific time, which I understand. They're trying to make money. But we're not always available the first Saturday of every month at 11 o'clock in the morning. So, and if we miss the movie they wanted to watch, they don't show that movie again with the sensory showing. So yeah, movie theaters aren't really our jam. So being able to go to the drive-in is just so much easier for us. The drive-in has a nice park. They go and they play until it's dark enough for the movie to start. You can bring your own food. Tickets are on par with what you'd pay for at a regular movie theater. I think it's like $6 a person now for us, which we still don't have to pay for William. We have to pay for him starting in August. But so it's not too bad to pay for the 4 big people to go plus William. And we all have a good time. We take our lawn chairs, we chill out, and it's just a fun experience. I remember going to the drive-in when I was a kid. We went and saw Operation Dumbo Drop at a drive-in that is not even here anymore. Like when I drive by the vacant lot now, I'm like, I went to the drive-in there. And I have very vivid memories, even being, I think I was 4 or 5, of going to that movie. So yeah, that's about it. I can't think of anything else. Oh, the girls are wanting to do some reverse tie-dye, so we're gonna do that. It's where you take a black shirt and you bleach it and then you tie-dye over it. So we're gonna do that. I have plans to dye lots more yarn. I'm meeting up with my friend Amber of Ambi Marie Knits. She has a podcast here on YouTube. You ought to go check her out. Her podcast episodes are weekly, but they're only like 15 minutes. So they're really fast. Like if you just have a few minutes to sit down, you can just sit down and watch her real quick. And she makes some cool stuff. I'm a little jealous of the stuff she makes, just saying. She says I can do it, and we'll see. But they're really neat that she's done. And so I'm going to meet her for coffee, and we're going to trade some powder dyes. And so that's going to be fun. And I need to put in another order for some more bear yarn because I'd like to dye a few other things. So yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys are doing, what you're doing, what your plans are for the summer. And let me know about that Ravelry group. And I guess I will see you guys in about a month. I will talk to you later. Bye.